Simple versus compound interest. So this is the TEAC, that's the Texas Education Standard 8.12 deal. This 8.12D. This deals with financial literacy. So we're going to calculate the difference between compound and simple interest. So here's some new vocabulary. Simple interest is interest paid only on the principal. Any accumulated interest is not part of the calculation. Compound interest, however, includes all that accumulated interest earnings. So over time, compound interest is much more powerful than simple interest. The principal, that's the money originally invested or borrowed. That's what we use to calculate the rate against to find out what the total cost of borrowing money is or the total value of a particular investment, if we know the rate that we either borrow at or that our investment earns. So the rate, that would be a percentage rate, and we express that in decimal form. And all we have to do is take the percent, let's say it's 24%, we divide that by 100, and we get 0.24. So 24% and 0.24 represent the same value, but in different terms. And when we calculate, we need to have the percent converted to decimal. All right, time. So we usually use years. The important thing about time is that whatever the rate is expressed as, percent per year, then we want to make sure that the time that we use in the calculation is in years. So if we have 24% per year and we have 18 months for our time, we have to convert the 18 months to years because our 24% was in years. Interest earnings. In other words, how much interest did the investment earn? Not the total value, the principal plus the interest, but just the interest alone. Deposit, that's our principal that we put into an account. Withdrawal, we take money out of that account. Account balance, that's just what is the total value of that account to include the principal and the interest. So, Jaleisha opened an account with a deposit of $7,000. The account earned annual simple interest, so we want to box that out. Annual simple interest, and she did not make any additional deposits or withdrawals. At the end of 4 years, the balance of the account was $8,260. Here's our question. What is the annual interest rate of this account? Well, let's go back and circle our numbers. What this does is it keeps in mind what we're doing. There we go. Well, let's take a look at the question. What is the annual interest rate on this account? So, what I want to do is I want to identify my parts. So I've got my principal. That equals 7,000. I know I'm going with simple interest, so I know my formula that I'm going to use. The amount equals the principal plus interest, and the interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. So our time is 4 years, and the total value is $8,260. So now that I have all of those pieces in place, then what I have to do is organize what I'm going to do about this. Well, we're just wanting what the interest rate is, so the principal doesn't matter so much. Although we do need to know what the total value of the interest was. So let's see if it tells us that. All we get is the balance of the account after 4 years. Okay? So let's figure out what the interest was worth. So that would be $82.60 minus $7,000, because this is the total value minus the principal. So that would give us $1,260. I'm going to bring this page down a little bit. So let me put my pattern up. The interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. Now we know all of these pieces except for the rate, and that's really what we're looking for. We want to know what is the rate. That's our question. Well, let's plug in what we know. Our interest equals $1,260. And we know we started with $7,000. Only times that times our rate, multiply that times our time. All right, I'm going to adjust this a little bit just to keep everything lined up. Okay. Our time equals 4. By listing out all of the different facts that we know, and then listing our formula or our pattern, it makes it a lot easier to fill in information and then identify what we need to find. Alright, so here we got 1,260 equals 7,000 times the rate times 4. Well, with any multiplication problem, the things being multiplied, you can have them in any order. So let's make this a little more clear. So 1,260 equals our rate times 7,000 times 4. So what we have is 1,260 equals the rate times, if 7,000 times 4, that's going to be 28,000. Okay, great. Well, we want to know what the rate is. So we need R all by itself. So what we're going to do is, since we're multiplying rate times 28,000, basically the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide the right side by 28,000. And so that will cancel out the 28,000 on the right. But this is an equation. So whatever we do to the right, we have to do to the left. So we're going to divide the left by 28,000. That will give us our rate. So if we take $1,280 and we divide that by 28,000, we will get 0.0457 and some more digits, but that's enough for our purpose. That gets R on one side and the value of R on the other side. So if we convert this, we end up with 4.57% is our rate. Alright, 4.57. So now let's go back and take a look at our calculation. Do we have a number that is close to 4.57? And I would say, yes we do. 4.5%. So this is how we calculate simple interest.